Hello, I'm Araminta Matthews, your Senior Instructional Designer, here with the last installment of the Kennebec Valley Community College Brightspace requirement videos. In this video, I will teach you how to lock down content in your course site so that when courses open early, that your students will only be able to see content that you want them to see before the actual official start date of the course. So it is my understanding from Academic Affairs that courses will be opening 5 days early. This is based on a teaching excellence standard wherein students are given access to a learning management system so that they can learn to navigate their way around the site before the course actually begins. Now, given that we are all required to use Brightspace minimally for our syllabus and for grading, so our students will be checking online for that syllabus and minimally for weekly graded feedback and how well they're doing in the course, opening that course early is now an important element so that students can learn where to click and how to find things in Brightspace before your course actually begins. However, many of you might have content in your course site that you don't want students to see before the official start of the course. So let's just make up some dates for a minute here. Let's imagine that your course officially starts on January 3rd. Well, we're going to open your course on or around December 28th. That will be done automatically for you. But you don't actually want students to see any of the sensitive or specific learning materials until January 3rd. The only thing you would like them to have access to is the syllabus, perhaps a welcome message or an opening announcement that you provide, and perhaps any icebreaker activities that you have, things that are unrelated to the actual learning in the course. So in this video, I will show you how to lock down all of your content so that it opens on the day that your course officially begins or any day thereafter. So if you want to release content on specific dates after the first day, for instance, you release the first week on the first day of class and the second week on the first day of the second week, I can show you how to do that too. So let's get started. You are looking at the home page for Kennebec Valley Community College. To get here, mccs.brightspace.com, and use the same username and password you use for your email credentials because we have a single sign-on here at KV. You will see all of your courses. However, you may need to navigate to the semester that you are looking for. So you can use these buttons here to toggle to find which academic semester course you are looking at. So I'm going to just navigate to my course site now. I know which semester that's in. I'm going to click it to open it up. Now, the first thing that a student sees when they log in the first time is the course homepage. After that, they're going to see wherever they left off in your course when they log into your course site or at their last bookmark. So students have a lot of control over their interactions with your course site. That's important to know if you are building more than the minimal requirements in your course. For now, let's focus on what types of material you might want students to be able to see and how you would allow them to see that. On the home page, you'll notice that there are announcements. And if you create a new announcement, you can write a very quick and easy welcome message to your students, like so. And here's a nifty trick. If you would like students to see their own name appear, use curly bracket, first name, no spaces, close curly bracket, and they will see their name appear right after the word dear, or perhaps you say hello. Whatever it is that you write there, this code will allow students to see their own name at any space in the course site where you place it. Now that I've written the welcome message, I have offered some basic instructions to the students about where and how they can interact with basic course content. If I have more than basic course content, I could provide more detail here if I so choose. Note too that I did provide instructions for how students can find and interact with their grades and graded feedback, because as a faculty member, you will be grading them at least minimally every week so that students will have the ability to check on how they're doing throughout the course. After I have created the announcement, I do have the ability to set a start date. Now, again, we played with some imaginary dates. Let's say that my course begins on, we'll say the 20th, that's tomorrow, I can choose to allow this to actually launch at 8 a.m. on the 20th. And what that will do is it will send an email to my students at 8 a.m. But I can also just leave it as the default, and that message will appear on the home page when my students arrive. So this is how you would create an announcement. And let me just go back to the home page so you can see how it looks to students. Now, because I want to be able to show you what this looks like to students, I'm actually going to go back and change this date to a previous date, because even I won't be able to see the announcement if I have it set to launch in a date in the future. So just pretend you have the ability to control the date that your announcements go out. And they do go out as both an email and an announcement in your home page. So just consider that if you're looking for a fast and easy way to communicate with all of your students at once. So I'm going to go ahead and click update and show you what that looks like. Now, remember how I put first name in there? And look what it did. It automatically filled in my name because I'm the user looking at this course right now. If I were somebody else, though, and I went to the course homepage, whatever their first name is, it would appear in that section where I put the curly bracket, first name, curly bracket, code. So that's a really nice way to just have a personal touch with your students. Let's carry on. So as I mentioned, most everything you do will be under the content button. For the course requirements, your overview syllabus must be visible on day one. And if you watch the video on how to upload your syllabus, you will know what I recommend you place in this opening description section in addition to how to upload the syllabus. And this is a constant place in your course site, so you actually don't need to do anything to it for it to be visible to your students. However, if you don't want your students to see anything in the course content, you're going to have to lock that content down so that it doesn't open until the official start date of your course. So I am a professor who has an icebreaker activity. I have my students engage in kind of a two truths and a lie exercise to get to know each other as a discussion board. And so personally, I want to leave my first week of content open to my students because I want them to at least see that first discussion. There's not going to be anything in there about specific lessons or quizzes or content that they're learning until the course date officially starts. That's my personal choice. You, however, can lock down anything you want other than the syllabus, because again, the syllabus is really what we want students to be able to see. And we also want them to get used to clicking all the buttons that are here in Brightspace so they can get used to where these notification features are and where they will be finding information. And we also want them to get used to clicking on grades and looking at the gradebook so that they can see your constant updating of content. So again, it is your personal choice what you lock down. Let me show you how to do that. So as I mentioned in previous videos, in order to release content to your students through Brightspace, you do have to have created at least a single module, if not multiple modules, here in the table of contents area. That is a really critical component because if you haven't released it in content, your students will start fishing around for content in these buttons, and you start to very quickly lose control over where and when those things appear to students because they're kind of scattershot throughout. So if you do everything through the content button, it's just a faster way for you to control when and how things are locked down. So what I'm going to do is go to the very first week of content, and then this date and restrictions area, I'm going to add a start date. The course officially begins on 7/25, and I'm going to set the time to midnight for my early birds, technically 12:01 a.m. And as soon as I update that, what's going to happen in a moment, let me just do that to a few more items for you, and you'll see that go by rapidly because I'm going to do it on fast speed. Okay, I've now locked all of the content to is open on a specific date. If I so choose, I can change those dates. It doesn't have to be the first day of class. It could be a later date if I don't want students, for instance, to see the midterm. I can lock down the midterm to not open until 3 weeks later. I can lock down any of the specific items as well. So let's say in week 1, there is an item that I actually don't want students to see, even though the course starts on July 25th. I don't want them to see it until a few days later. I can edit properties in place, click the date restriction, start date, and have that actually start like a day later. I just need to click that update button. So you can control individual artifacts within a module or the whole module itself. So if you want some things to open at different times, that's how you can do that. Now let me show you what this looks like to the learner's view. So to toggle to the learner's view, I go up to my initials here and I click View as KV Learner. And when I go back to the content page, first of all, notice that welcome message that I had is still there. And when I go to content now as the learner, I see that this content doesn't actually open, like I can't do anything with it until the 25th. So you see how it's there, it says begins July 25th, but I can't actually do anything with it as a learner. I can't click on it. I can't do anything at all except view its metadata, which is, there's nothing there. So all I can see is that there is content coming. I won't be able to do anything with that content until July 25th, 12:01 a.m. has come to pass. So as you can see, when you lock down your content, you're basically just providing your students with a way to navigate the course site and develop their skills around interacting with Brightspace before the course itself begins. And there's actually no way for them to do anything with the content in the course because we've locked it down. So that's how you'll be locking down your content, and courses will open early automatically. You don't need to do anything about that part. You just need to make sure that you have your syllabus set up ahead of time and your gradebook. And of course, if there is any content that you want your students to see throughout the course or have graded throughout the course, you'll want to have that set up ahead of time as well. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I can work with you in small groups, individually, by department. Invite me to a department meeting. We can do a training over Zoom, and I can walk you through any of these things step by step. I look forward to working with all of you. Thank you for watching this video series.